Listen up, MTG players. Rent is due, and your landlords are here to collect. Graham here. You can call me Hamhawks42, but today you can call me Piggy Banks, which is some bad news for you because, I never go broke. And of course, I'm also joined by my buddy Sean here. Sean, how's it going? Tell the people who you are, what's happening.
It's going good, Piggy Banks, and as you know, friends, you can call me Sean or Astralsflame, but right now as we're doing the shakedown, you're going to call me Ben's Money, because I got so much, I don't know what to do with it. And today, to help the shakedown go a little bit smoother, we got some MTG info to help you smooth it out a little bit. Piggy Banks, we talking about some Thunder Junction and, what was the other one? Bloom-Burrow or Money-Burrow, right?
Exactly, Money-Burrow,
Yeah.
the Stacks Burrow. Where is it? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's what it's all about. We are the Bloom Bureau, if you will. Wait, that didn't quite work. But in any event, yeah, we got some new sets coming out, and this past weekend in Chicago, which we both had the privilege of visiting the lovely city of Chicago to visit fellow MTG players like yourself. I gotta say, oh my goodness, it was absolutely fantastic. But they showed off a number of new cards coming up from a couple of the new sets. They previewed a whole bunch of Fallout cards, which great if that's your jam. Okay, cool. But we both appreciate standard. We appreciate what's going on in standard, playing standard. It's just a great way to interact with the game. It's a darn good time. So we decided today we're going to be discussing some of the upcoming standard cards that have been previewed. Now, we haven't seen all of these yet. We're still a little ways away from full on preview season, but they gave us a little sneak peek. And so we wanted to dive into some of those cards, give kind of our thoughts, our feelings, and, also discuss just what these sets have for us moving forward. All right. So which cards were you hoping to start with there, Burns Money? Do you have any on the docket that have you especially intrigued?
Well, allegedly, I think we have to talk about the most exciting ones that are going to commit some criminal accusations, criminal shenanigans. And again, I use the term allegedly commit.
Allegedly.
We've never been falsified. We've never been proven. It's always allegedly. So Thunder
Always.
Junction, allegedly where people, where the criminal, the alleged associates.
The alleged criminals,
Yeah.
the villains of the multiverse.
Yeah, co-conspirators, associates, partners in crime, that of that nature, the Thunder Junction where we live in it. Because we did get some pretty sweet previews, and I think two are some of the big standout ones that we saw. Maybe three. I mean, we saw Oko. We know Oko's the ring lord. Oko's committing crimes, which fits up the Oko alley, being the trickster.
Of course.
And then, we had Rakdos the Brute coming in, the big strengthy muscle, taking a break from Ravnica just to commit some other crimes. That's always going to be a good time.
I say that one I find very surprising. I'm kind of, I find it curious that Rakdos is in fact willing to take orders from anybody, being this, immortal being that is in fact one of the founding members of one of the Ravnican guilds, probably one of the oldest members of the team. And of immense power, just being the grunt. I find that surprising. They're willing to just be the muscle. I'm genuinely surprised by that. But hey, Rakdos, you know what? Maybe he just want to take a break from calling the shots and just relax. Maybe for him this is vacation. Is rustling up some petty crimes and just busting some skulls. So rock on, Rakdos. You do you.
Yeah, that's my similar kind of thought. Like, there's got to be something like Rakdos, like. Not to say that Rakdos is a simplified mod, by no means at all. I mean, back in the day to summon Rakdos, they had to do some offerings. There was some, also witch shenanigans involved and some carnivals we do not speak about. Allegedly, once again, allegedly. This happened. But, there was talent involved. So I'm curious to see how Rakdos has gone from the patron of the Rakdos Guild and just recently having a card to going in now into the Outlaws of Thunder Junction and being the Brute. And I feel like Oko's going to have some kind of synergistic. There's going to be a story. There's something it was probably promised, deals
Absolutely.
with the demon and whatnot. But I think sorry, yeah.
The other detail that I think is very important that we need to not forget, in Throne of Eldraine, as my cat is up in my business, sorry, audio listeners, in the story Throne of Eldraine, we saw Oko actually getting into Garruk's mind and taking control of him and cursing him. So he has the ability to manipulate people's will. I wonder if that's part of the reason some of these characters are doing things that look like they're out of character, like Rakdos being the muscle. The other one that I find absolutely shocking, confusing, and has me going, huh? Is Vraska.
That's the one.
Mm,
That's the third.
I know.
How? Why?
How? Why? What? And while we're at it, who? Because
Who?
when we last saw Vraska, she was completed by Phyrexia, and her body was not recovered after a battle where it looked like she lost. As a Phyrexian agent, she just disappeared. She was gone. My theory that I had sustained for an incredibly long time, and I'm still kind of holding out hope, but it clearly looks like that's not the case anymore. Because, cause and effect nowadays in Magic Story, yeah, it's all up for interpretation. It's all up for whatever they want to do. So, Vraska coming back as a villain, I was totally okay with. I assumed that's because she was completed. She was still part of Phyrexia and one of the only agents of Phyrexia to still have kind of agency and power. That's what I assumed. And I thought her and Jace were going to be the new Praetors, and it was going to be a whole thing. Instead, we haven't seen a card for Vraska yet, but we have seen artwork, as she looks perfectly fine, if not a little sinister. She just looks a little like angry. That's it. And she's rolling with the villains and being presented as a villain, even though prior to her completion, she was a relatively virtuous character. So, what?
Something smells fishy in that.
Something's off. 100%. 100%. So, curious as to what all that's about. Yeah.
I don't know. Like, she looks. I don't remember reading any part of the story that ever said that she was fixed to completion. I heard some rumblings on the Twitter, that apparently there was something someone did, but I have not seen any official source say otherwise. So I am in this boat. How is, and why is Vraska at all these spots? How did Vraska become, and why is she not with Jace? I mean, they literally went off into the Phyrexian sunset together.
They sure did. And we've also seen, we have reason to believe that Jace will be in an upcoming set as well, which also has everybody just scratching the head going, what? So,
like, I'm scratching mine right now. Like, what?
I mean,
like, what?
What? Exactly.
Doesn't make sense.
That's what we're saying. So it's very confusing, very very odd. I'm holding out hope that it is in fact that they are still completed. Maybe they're using some kind of illusion magic to appear normal so that people aren't freaking out. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, at this point, who knows? They probably had some bespoke reason why they were cured of pheresis. The one that I've heard for Jace, which is an interesting, compelling argument. Prior to him just kind of piecing out, on the story where he got completed, we actually saw, I believe it was Elspeth stabbed him with Luxior, which is a sword that freaking has Halo in it. And Halo being something that's helpful against Phyrexia. So there was a theory that that injected him with a whole bunch of Halo and he's probably fine. And he was kind of faking being one of Norn's cronies the whole time. I don't know. Like that makes some sense. As much sense as any of this makes, if we're honest. But
true.
cool. Yeah.
Well,
I don't know.
Let's be real.
Theories.
We're not making sense on here. We don't get to make sense. We make the dollars.
Exactly. We're not here to make sense. We're here to make money. That's exactly right. So, did we want to talk about this Planeswalker cat, this Oko, the ringleader?
Yeah.
He's calling the shots. He's in charge.
Let's talk about this Oko, because this is not the Oko of past. This is an allegedly new Oko. And again, maybe I use allegedly in the wrong context in this particular case.
It's all alleged. It's fine.
It's all alleged. But this new Oko is pretty sweet. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, we've got a 4-mana Planeswalker, which usually tends to be a bit more balanced. But we do have a passive ability coming in here. Oko is, at the beginning of combat, gonna become a copy of, I do believe, target creature you control.
One target creature you control. Yep.
Yeah, up to 1. So you can name 0, but if you do transform Oko at the beginning of combat, it does get hexproof, which is kind of cool. I do appreciate that. So you got a transform and walk, which is very akin to Oko's tricky abilities and switching around. And ever present, of course, we've got the Elkening, if you will.
The Elkening, of course.
That is a -1 this time, though. It is not a plus, and it does not make something. It just makes an elk.
That Wizards has learned the lesson. So this thing has 3 loyalty abilities. +1, draw 2 cards if you've committed a crime this turn. Instead, or no, if you committed a crime this turn, discard a card. Otherwise, discard 2 cards. So if you're committing crimes, you're going up cards. Nice. -1, you make a 3/3 green elk creature token, which is pretty solid. And the starting loyalty is only 3 on this guy,
Ooh,
which is definitely different from previous versions. Previous versions, the starting loyalty was like, I believe it was what, starting loyalty 5 with a +2 effect. That seems pretty good.
I believe
Uh,
no,
or was it 4?
it was a 3, but it had a +2.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
In
So
any event.
you uptake it and
And
would not
removal on a
die.
+1, which
Yeah.
was bananas. All right. And then -5. For each other non-land permanent you control, create a token that's a copy of that permanent. That's beautiful,
I love
if I
that.
may say. I'm excited. So we mentioned committing crimes on the +1. We should probably touch on this. Committing crimes is a new keyword, new mechanic that is basically just asking, did you do a thing? In this case, the thing, did you touch your opponent's stuff? Did you target your opponent's stuff with something? If you did, you committed a crime. Bounce a thing, destroy a thing, tap a thing. Committing crimes. That's what you're doing. And
If
so if you're committing crimes, Oku's going to reward you for that by helping you go up cards. Fantastic.
if I may, realistically, they paid the kicker cost for the crime
Exactly.
because
I love it.
committing crime is just kicker,
It's just kicker.
just with
Exactly.
allegedly more steps.
Allegedly more steps. So I gotta say, what are your thoughts on this card? Do you think this is a good card? Are we gonna be playing this?
I
Are we
do.
gonna be cursing this one? We did the way we did Thief of Crowns?
I don't think we'll be casting this one the same way as we were the last one. However, I do actually think this one will be seeing some play. I do think exists some Bant shenanigans, especially with some of the new cards we've got from the new cards. Not that we're talking about new cards, but Murders of Karlov Man are just coming out. Murder of Karlov had the Doppelgang, which has seen some very interesting play in shenanigan decks and making its way into some ranked play and some tournament play, as my understanding goes, for massive copying. So I could definitely see there being a Bant shell with this Oko fitting in and doing things in the criminal aspectic way. Just getting it nice. There's card advantage. It spits out some bodies. It can get you some other advantage. I like it. 4 mana seems fine. The loyalty I am not displeased with. It does not immediately die to stuff. And you can also spit out something to protect it, or you can get some card advantage right away. So I'm paying 4 mana to draw 2 cards, and I got a Planeswalk on board. If I'm playing in a control deck, I don't feel bad about that.
Yeah.
And the passive,
Yeah.
passive makes me very intrigued as to what you can do to that. Because in a Simic ramp deck, I might just be turning this into a few things. You never know. Again,
Right there with you.
allegedly.
See, allegedly. See, the passive is what has me intrigued as well. Because you could do like a Sultai Shell where on turn 3 you drop a Preacher of the Schism, turn 4 Oko. Or well, you'd probably want something with haste if you want to do that. But like you have so many awesome creatures that aren't legendary, all of a sudden Oko can just become an extra one of those for that combat. That could be really fantastic. You can get silly with that. Of note, Oko does change the name when he becomes a copy and retains legendary status. So if you're copying legends, just know you're gonna have to kill one of them. It's part of the deal. So that's gonna be a whole thing. But I don't know. I feel like that has a lot of utility, and that's pretty interesting. I have a feeling that Oko the Ringleader is going to be falling into the same trap that we've seen a lot of other planeswalkers falling into. It
Agreed.
looks good, it's intriguing, it's fun, but I just don't think it's going to fit in any current decks, and I don't think it's going to be strong enough to create a brand new archetype off its own. So it's going to be joining completed Tameo and Archangel Elspeth as these cards that we look at and go, these are great, but where do I put it? I think is where we're going to be with this. I think Commander players are going to have all kinds of fun finding goofy shenanigans with this thing. And Janky Brewers, such as myself, we got a new toy. It's going to be, and I like what you're saying with the Doppelgang ramp. On the turn when you drop out your Tier Next Rex. Oh, by the way, I got a second one now too. Have fun with that opponent. There are opportunities for cool stuff here. I like it. I do, but some kind of crazy ramp controlling thing or is probably where you're going to want to see it. Actually, wait a minute. Could the domain deck need that use this? I don't think it wants it, but could they? Could
I
be
feel
fun.
like The domain deck maybe could take advantage of it. I mean, depending what you do, you fit this in as a full mana Waka. Like maybe you go into like a Sunfall turn. You still have a Boko. You're drawing a big depot. I mean, you're playing 28, 29 lands and domains. You can discard a couple lands. You basically just want to draw into Atraxa, right? So
Pretty much.
I,
Yeah.
I could see that fitting in, maybe like a one or two of, and then you make a copy of like an Archangel or Wrath, maybe a Topiary Stomper or something going on.
Yeah,
I
chip
could
in
see
for some damage in those
yeah.
middle turns where things get weird. Yeah, just an
Yeah.
idea, just a thought. Uh, yeah, I mean, card selection is pretty good in that case. And if we get to that -5, I think
Ooh.
that -5 is gonna get silly. Like that's gonna get really, really silly. So if you're in a situation where you got like Spelunking or Spirited Companion, up to Beanstalk, any of these cards that like when they enter you just draw cards and then they just sit around, you're gonna be able to use that. So I don't know, fun card, definitely gonna try it. Yeah,
Leyline Binding.
yes.
That is a non-land permanent that Oko can make a copy.
Sold. Leyland Bindings, ossifications. Yep. I'm sold. Let's do it.
I'm liking it. I'm liking it.
I'm liking this. And if you got 2 Leyline Bindings, because you're playing the domain deck and it's after turn 3, so you'll have 2 Leyline Bindings down. You know,
Oh,
that's
it's
gonna be pretty
sweet.
good.
And we put that together with like an Elish Norn, Mother of Machines, and suddenly double ETBs. And I mean, what game are we even playing anymore? Our opponent's just not playing.
Nah, we're playing Yu-Gi-Oh over here.
Yeah.
It's gonna get silly. I love it. Fantastic. All right. So, what are the cards from Outlaws of Thunder Junction do we want to be talking about? By the way, this set is going to be coming out actually next month as of this recording. So, it's going to be coming out in April, mid to late April. So, keep an eye out for that, folks.
Already?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. April 19th. Is that not the release date for Thunder Junction?
Bud's Money is apparently behind on the schedule because we fit as the Gauntlet of Mana for 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's old news. We've already been there. What are you talking about? When a set releases, it's old news these days. Come on, man. Get with it.
I'm out here still making decks with Might of the Gauntlet of Mana. I gotta stop playing for Thunder Junction.
Over here playing blood spatter analysis. What you doing? Come on, man.
Doing Insidious Roots and allegedly.
I know. What is this? No. We need to be talking about. We need to be talking about like new Tiny Bones, the pickpocket.
That's true. That's true.
That's
that is a cool one. I gotta say. I mean, 1 mana, 1/1 Death Touch. I like it. I like it.
1 mana, 1/1 Skeleton Rogue Death Touch. Whenever Tiny Bones the Pickpocket deals combat damage to a player, you may cast target non-land permanent card from that player's graveyard. The mana of any time can be spent to cast that spell. You'll love to see it. Now, interestingly enough, in a lot of situations when you cast from a graveyard, the card gets exiled. In this case, it does not, because you cast it from your opponent's graveyard, it'll just go right back when you're done, which is kind of cool. That way, if you get in with Tiny Bones again, you get to do it again later. That's just fun. Also, you do have to spend the mana, which maybe sounds like a raw deal, because of what I don't want to be casting. I don't want to be spending my own mana for spells, especially your spells. Come on, man. I just want to take them for free. That's true and all. But if your opponent has an X spell or like a memory deluge that cares about the amount of mana that you spent on it, then all of a sudden you can get value off that. So it's not all bad.
It's not all bad. And I do feel like this will fit into a little bit of a show because we do have a couple mill decks going around. Some shenanigans kind of happening. And I do imagine we might just be seeing Tiny Bones maybe fitting into a slight mill strategy as a good defensive block and then taking advantage of what your opponent is going to be casting, especially if you just happen to, again, equip it with a cryptic cloak to allegedly do these situations we are talking about here. And that is in reference to the cloak makes the creature not able to be blocked.
Now, that's true. Notably, the cryptic cloak itself does not have an equip cost, so you're going to have to get creative, maybe get a little lucky, but you can do it. It's possible.
I didn't say it'd be easy. I just said it'd be fun.
Nah, exactly. It's all good, though. But the thing about this that I find, or if you have Delny in your deck, then this thing becomes very difficult to block. They're not able to block it with big things, so that's fun. But yeah, Tiny Bones is interesting. I gotta say, a 1/1 Death Touch for 1 is already fine. I've definitely seen different builds of the like the Esper Legends decks that we've seen in the past run Ashnod. And Ashnod is just a 1/1 legendary for 1 with Death Touch and some other text that it might as well not have. Because like they're never relevant. Like ever. I've never seen that ability used. Not once. Like the rest of it. And Tiny Bones is just that with extra bonuses. Like I love the idea of a death toucher that gets a bonus if it hits your opponent. Because you don't want to block it because your blocker is gonna die. So unless you have an expendable 1/1 you can throw in front of it, you're not happy making that block. But if it hits you, you're gonna have to, give up one of the cards in your graveyard. Like that could be bad.
Could
That
be.
could be very bad.
And like it's sticking in the relevance here. The fact that it's a 1-mana 1/1, I think really actually makes Tiny Bones surprisingly strong. Because it does not matter at the stage of the game you are playing. Imagine you are pitting mono black tempo. Let's say I'm mono black tempo and Piggy Banks here is playing mono blue tempo. We're going ham and ham here because
Mhm.
that's what happens between friends. We go at the ham style and the ham school of ham
Absolutely.
at the Piggy Banks Money Technology School of Entrepreneurial, allegedly not criminal business, but
Perfectly legal, legitimate business. Of course.
that's the
Only.
one. We are
Always.
legitimate
Yeah,
business
yeah.
persons. That's from Capenna. But
Mhm.
what we're beginning at here. Let's say I go ahead and drop in this here Tiny Bones and turn one. Piggy Banks over here. He's done the right play. He's got the consider. He's already considered his option. He's drawn that card and it's gone in. But consider is now in your graveyard,
Yep.
and I got a 1/1, and you don't have a fading help. Suddenly, Tiny Bones connecting in and letting me cast your consider. It doesn't
That's
feel
just
so bad.
value.
That's value.
It's
And I
yeah.
mean, what if we're playing model red? What if we've got to play with fire in the graveyard? Suddenly, looking pretty good. What about go for the throne in the graveyard? I
Well,
actually think. I don't know. I think.
this get out of hand. Well, and think about this, right? Let's fast forward that game, right? So it's mono blue versus mono black. Let's assume that I've had bad counter spell luck up until this point. Actually, even if I haven't, Tiny Bones is on the field, right? Because turn one, what am I gonna do? We don't have a Stern Scolding in standard. So yep, you got it. If it's late in the game, say I got a Haughty Gin online, but I've got like a quick study or a memory deluge in my graveyard, and you're out of gas. Well, you come swinging in with Tiny Bones. I either let you hit me and you refill, which is bad news, or I gotta trade my Haughty Gin, which could be, like a 6/4 flyer or whatever,
Could be, could be.
with your little 1-drop 1/1. Get out of here. This is that is a very unpleasant situation to be in on the receiving end. Let me tell you what. Not to mention you probably have Gix at this point. Maybe that's what I spent my counter on, and now Tiny Bones is swinging in or whatever. Like puts your opponent in a very difficult position, and it only costs you 1 mana. Like if
Only
you're
one
in
mana.
if you're in any kind of aggressive strategy, or I mean, honestly, even if you're in a defensive strategy, just having a death touch blocker will slow a lot of opponents down. So honestly, I think this card is excellent. Like I think Tiny Bones is fantastic, and I will be shocked if it does not see play in standard very quickly after release.
I
Yeah.
agree. I agree. I'm in a similar boat. The more we're talking about, the more I'm actually sold on this card. But something maybe I'm not so sold on is someone we get a little bit lost with here. Lost on
Yeah.
the range with Fibblethip here, and I don't know, Piggy Banks, about you, but when I think about a 3-drop, I sure don't think about a 1/1 3-drop. That's gonna be all about plot armor.
I'm not sure what's going on with this one either. I mean, Fibblethip is adorable. We love Fibblethip. And this is one of those things. If you want to invest in this CAD because Fibblethip fans will pay top dollar to get their hands on it as a business move, by all means. Good luck, have fun. Thing with Fibblethip Lost on the Range, it's a 1/1 for 1 blue. I'll tell you right now, in that blue tempo deck, I'm not running this. 1/2. You might look at the top card of your library anytime. Underrated rules text, in my opinion. I like that part.
Agreed. Agreed.
The top card of your library has plot. The plot cost is equal to its mana cost. Now, if you're out there wondering, hey, Piggy Banks, what the heck does that mean? I gotta tell you, I got nothing. I have absolutely no idea. So we'll find out. We got theories as to what plot exactly means. It has something to do with lands, presumably, because you got the frontiers and whatever. Okay, cool. And then you may plot non-land cards from the top of your library. So you get to somehow play cards off the top of your library. If the plot mechanic is really, really good, maybe this card is great in certain shells. Opening up the top of your deck's a big deal. But we have cards like the Reality Chip that are out there that have been in standard for years and
Years.
don't really see meaningful play. They just don't. Meanwhile, in like Commander, you got cards like Bolus's Citadel, or there's cards like Mystic Forge, where in certain decks that's like insane. So if there's Conspicuous Snoop, another one that can do some absolutely bonkers shenanigans in the right deck.
Bonkers.
So bonkers. So this is one of those where the high low on this has yet to be seen. It could be excellent. I'm guessing because of the stat line that it's going to be tough to play. You know, because if I tap out on turn 3, drop this, and you play and end the festivities, I'm gonna cry. You're gonna see a grown man cry. It's not a good look. And I think things like that are gonna happen way more than we want, like for sure. So we'll see how this goes. We'll see how it goes. But
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
thinking the same to Piggy Banks. Like 3 mana for the abilities, it seems fine. Maybe maybe plot's a really good mechanic, but the stat line just does not make me happy. I'm
no,
not. I'm not here for it.
it makes me nervous, which is a shame because Fibblethip's great. I do like me a good Fibblethip.
We do love Fibblethip. We stand
Mm-hmm.
Fibblethip here. Fibblethip has made us a lot of money. Because I'll tell you what,
Absolutely.
those emergency rescue charges, we take advantage.
Mm, absolutely. Oh my goodness. Very good. I mean, my hope is that this card is like shockingly playable, or at the very least, like a viable in Commander. So Fibblethip has a fun playable card. I know that I've run Fibblethip the Lost from Where the Spac. I've run that card in a couple of decks where was it really the best call? Maybe not, but Fibblethip. How could you say no? Yeah.
I had a commander deck for Fibblethip the Lost. It could win on 10-4.
Dang.
Yeah. Turns out when it's a non-creature deck and the Fibblethip the Lost is the only creature, and then you use Proteus Staff, you get to stack the triggers and redo it with Disdainful or what is it? Isokron Scepter on untap your stuff. You
Dramatic
doing
reversal.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
one. You do the untap combo, infinite mana, stick a Proteus Staff in there, send Fibblethip on the deck, you reorder your deck, you draw your deck, and then suddenly you win with Jace Wielder of Mysteries. I mean, you,
That seems good.
yeah,
That seems
you
pretty
just
good.
win on turn 4. Like 30 mana rocks, the untap combos, a bunch of tutors. I mean, like $200, you're floating in like an easy C deck with a little Fibble. It's great times.
I love it. Absolutely love it. Fantastic. Well, speaking of blue cards, we got another one that I'd love your opinion about. So we got a new human, a 2-drop human advisor named Duelist of the Mind. Now, every now and then when you're looking through a new set, certain art like stands out, and you're like, "Oh, what's going on here?" And this one, it almost stands out because of just how downright normal it looks compared to everything else. Like, if you look at Duelist of the Mind, it's just like it's a dude. It just looks like a dude. Like, well, because it is a dude.
Yeah.
This is actually based off of Nathan Stoya, a former world champion. So, a reigning champion up until this last year in Vegas, actually. So, congratulations again to Nathan Stoya for winning the world championship some time ago now, which, hey, rock on. That's great. And this is the CAD that, Mr. Stoya got to work with Wizards of the Coast to create that actually bears his likeness. So, Duelist of the Mind is a star 3, 1 in a blue with flying and vigilance. Duelist
Okay.
of the Mind's power is equal to the number of cards you've drawn this turn. Whenever you commit a crime, you may draw a card. If you do discard a card, this ability triggers only once each turn. So, when I first saw this card, I thought it was absolutely ridiculous. I was unimpressed. The more I think about it, though, the more it's growing on me. What are your thoughts on this thing?
It's what is 2 mana? Is that right?
2 mana for it's got a
Ooh.
3 flying vigilance. On your opponent's turn, if you haven't drawn a card with any other kind of effects, it's a 0/3. But its power buffs the moment you start drawing cards.
I do really like it, Piggy Banks. I do really like it. I'm looking in, I'm thinking, and I'm like, all right, it's a 0/3, but that doesn't seem so bad. 3 toughness is a pretty good body to live on for 2 mana. And the vigilance I'm kind of sold on. It
Mhm.
gives you a good chance to really get in. Like if we do a mono blue tempo with this thing, I'll maybe a little bit in the late game. I got my Hottie Jins kind of doing stuff, but if I got this out too, I cast a flow of knowledge. Maybe I draw like 5 6 cards. I'm kind of liking
Punching
that.
hard.
I'm
Well,
hitting in for 6 and I've drawn 6 cards. I kind of like that.
I'm with you on this. And I think this is gonna see a ton of play in older formats as well. The more efficient your card draw effects get, the better this card gets. Can you imagine this in a brainstorm format?
I can imagine it was something better.
Oh?
Why don't we just stick this with Rafine?
Thank you. I hate it. Oh my goodness.
Let's just get it +1/+1 cannons as we discard stuff, and then we can have, and that counts as cards drawn. And it's a flying vigilance, so it's always there.
You know what's funny? It's funny you mentioned that because on the one hand, I hate this. This is way too good. On the other hand, I'm kind of excited because that means maybe those Espa players out there might have take out Denick and put this in its place. And so all of a sudden I can touch my graveyard again.
You can. Maybe they cut Denick and it's just going. They go with the Decavin bats and they run this in. But actually though, I do actually think that's really strong. I mean, anything goes off with Rafine, it's Rafine. But
yeah,
a Vigilance Fly on 2. You curve this on turn 2 into a Rafine on turn 3. Suddenly you are probably attacking in for about 2 power, but it becomes a 1/4 Vigilance Flyer.
Well, you draw the 1, it becomes 1/3 from your normal card draw that you draw at the start of your turn. And then if you drop Rafine, especially if you have a 1-drop, if you got a Skrelv or something like that in the mix, you attack with the Duelist of the Mind and Debt, you then draw 2 additional cards. It itself could be the connive target.
Yeah.
And so you draw 2 additional, you're looking at a 3/3 right there. And then any counters from the connive. Like,
yeah. You could theoretically have a turn 3 5/5 coming in. Yeah, that seems really good, actually. Wow.
And it has vigilance, so it's even going to be able to block for you. That is silly.
Oh,
that said, we knew Rafine was silly. Like we know Rafine's silly, but holy cow,
it just got even more silly.
It just got even sillier, and that will only be in standard for 4 weeks or for 4 months, by the way.
Yeah.
So be aware of that, everybody. Once Bloomberg shows up in August, then the standard rotation is going to happen. Rafine is going to get out of here.
It's going to be
gone. Enjoy it while it lasts, folks, because it's going to be silly and stupid for just a couple months. But we're going to see that. Like, people are absolutely going to do that.
They have to do that. I don't see anyone that don't do that. You know, in fact, I'm going to tweet about that right now. I'm going to.
Yes, you should.
We're going to do that right this kind of second here.
This moment.
This second here.
The people need to know, okay?
They do. What was the name of the card again?
Duelist of the Mind.
Duelist of the Mind.
This is nothing short of disgusting.
This is live action happening right now.
Oh
my
goodness.
I'm only doing this during the recording because this seems like a dumb idea, and I want to tag Piggy Banks and myself in this to say, hey, we broke Rafine. #Kappa.
Finally, we broke Rafine. But yeah, could you imagine Duelist of the Mind on 2, Rafine on 3, Sheldred on 4? Like, shut up.
Just seems disgusting. This
is absurd.
This is money.
This is absolutely absurd. Oh my goodness. I mean, that was already one of the best things you could be doing in standard. Like, it didn't need help. Oh my. But like I was saying, I mean, in decks, the other thing about this is just the threat of activation. So assuming you don't do the Rafine thing, if you have any kind of instant speed draw card, obviously I mentioned Brainstorm and all the formats, that goes crazy because that's a +3/+0 buff to this guy. So that's something. But on top of that, even something as simple like a Quick Study in standard or like a Silver Scrutiny, being able to cast it at an instant speed, all of a sudden, drawing more cards. Let's go.
Cards, that's it.
Yep, drawing cards. That's all I ever wanted. I just wanted to draw cards. That's it. Is that too much to ask?
It's perfectly illegal. It's a perfectly legal thing to ask, especially when you are allegedly committing a crime and going on the upside on stuff.
Exactly.
But, I gotta say, I am excited for these cards coming out. I think standard is going to be a very magical environment as we go through the Outlaws of Thunder Junction, and then probably 2 weeks after Thunder Junction's out, Bloomburrow releases.
I mean, it's going to feel like it. Yeah. Which is saying something because normally the summertime is kind of a drought, right? Like it's usually when things get really chill. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. We also have Modern Horizons 3 that's going to be dropping in, I believe, July. So, and that will be coming to Arena. So
it's going to be crazy.
So for all of us Arena players out there, please send your thoughts and prayers because it's going to be wild.
Solitude is going to be legal.
Yep.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Yep, we got Solitude showing up. We got freaking the new Emrakul. There are a couple of other cards in that set. And you know it's gonna be busted.
Oh
You
yeah, it's gonna
know it's
be.
gonna be busted.
Embercool's in the set. Of course, it has to be busted. And I mean, did you see that madness cost?
6 colorless.
6 colorless. Madness. Embercool. Madness. Can you imagine? I mean, you can't imagine. You saw the card.
It is madness. It's absolute
It is
madness.
madness. And like,
It's pure madness.
Like, collector's vault. Discarded Embercool to a collector's vault. Make some treasure. I know the treasure doesn't make colorless, but
That's actually one of the nice things, is the treasure can't help you with that
yeah.
madness. Honestly, I think it's gonna be tough in Timeless or on Arena in general to get to that colorless requirement. Like, I think that is gonna be tricky because it's not a Tron format. Like, most of the big ramp is all colored. Like, we have Nykthos. Nykthos ain't what you want for that.
Not in the
You know,
slightest.
and we don't have the Urzatron in Timeless. Like, that's not a thing on Arena. The moment that shows up, all bets are off. Like, strap in, everybody. It's happening. But until then, you know, a lot of our crazy ramp isn't going to help get 6 colors. That said, we got all the pain lands. So there's nothing stopping you from running, Collector's Vault, Modern Age, Kaido, and just, like, all the pain lands. Like, there's nothing stopping you from doing that.
Just play them all.
Play them all. Get them all in there.
Let's the razors.
Exactly. You maybe get Chromatic Ori in there, get nuts. Like, why not, right? Why not?
Terrible ideas.
That's actually another thing that I love about that, though, is like the color fixing, like the mana fixing that we have to make your mana base. When people talk about having a perfect mana base, they talk about World Tree. They talk about Dryad of Elysian Grove. They talk about Chromatic Lantern. They talk about those cards because they give you the ability to have for any color.
Color still don't help you with primary thing here.
I love it. I love it. So that's fun. So trying to get colorless might be tricky. We do still have like Warm Power Stone. We've got like Hedron Archive. We've got Mind Stone, those kind of things. So
yeah, we got
Iron Crag. Yeah, very doable though. Very doable.
Definitely very doable. I'm excited. I think it's gonna be sweet though, and hopefully soon we see some other stuff coming up too, and more spoilers to come because it's only like 3 weeks till Bloom-Burrow spoilers, I guess, at this point.
I mean, we're already talking about the
Thunder Junction spoilers.
Yeah, and people are already like thinking through their Bloom-Burrow personas. Let's say, like if they were to appear on Bloom-Burrow, if they were to planeswalk to Bloom-Burrow, what would they transform into? That's a fun little question.
I feel like if I did, I'd be like a Komodo dragon.
I can see that.
I could like that. I kind of like. What about you, Piggy Banks? What would you be?
So it's funny. I've heard some people comment that they would assume that I'm some kind of pig in a suit, but I assure you, this is fantasy. Okay, so I would like to believe that I would transport in as some kind of lizard or bat or bird. Actually, if I could be a bird, like maybe like an owl or an eagle or something, that'd be just amazing. What I actually think would happen, I'd probably be like a very fluffy bunny of some kind. That's my assumption. You know,
I could
just actually surprisingly chill. Yeah, that's my feeling.
I can see that. If I had to pick a name for your persona, I feel like it would be Bugs Money.
Hey, I like that. Yep, you can call me Bugs Money. Let's go.
And that's the TikTok right there.
Waka waka. All right. Love it. Oh my goodness. So were there any other there are a ton of new cards that got spoiled at this preview panel. We got Thunder Junction right around the corner. We knowing that we do have preview season coming soon. Am I correct in assuming that we're going to be doing deeper dives on these cards, but when the time comes?
Oh, absolutely. Of course, we have to get the financial advice in advance. I mean, after we've already secured our pre-order copies for their appropriate dollar amounts, and then upscale them even higher, because that's just what the landlords do. But yeah,
we got to get the right markup, of course.
Well, yeah, we got to make a profit, and then we'll disperse the knowledge to our dear listeners, our unsolicited rentiers. And we'll let you know what plotting and what crimes are as soon as we allegedly know what crimes are.
Indeed,
because we're legitimate business persons.
Let's go with that.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Well, yeah.
But yeah.
Are we taking it in for a landing, or did we? Because
I think this is where we're gonna bring it in and go get ready for our private jets here. So, Piggy Banks, where can the fine people find you?
Absolutely. So you can find me on many places all over the internet. Twitch.tv/hamhocks42 is my primary place online. I'm also on Twitter. I'm on TikToks. I'm on Instagram. And yes, you heard me correctly. I'm on TikToks. There's this guy who is always trying to sell me CADs. And I've decided to just start recording our little sessions. And, we're putting those out on the short form on TikTok and YouTube. And I got to say, it's been a ton of fun. So please like, subscribe, share, do all the stuff in all those places. I would definitely appreciate it. And yeah, Burns Money, how about you? What can where can they find you on the internet, and what can they expect to find when they get there?
Yeah, everywhere you can always find me at Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Astralsflame. I am back to streaming now. We are back from the work hiatus, back from the vacation, and the shenanigans, and YouTube's, the shorts, and the TikToks. They all coming out. They all starting back up. Sunday is the fun day when they're going in, and Monday is the first scheduled release of the new YouTube videos for deck techs, re regarding the current set before we get to Thunder Junction, Murders at Karlov Manor, and the new Best of 3 series kicking up in the next week or two, touching you how you can get into the Best of 3 way to play in Commander format on some cool stuff. But aside from that, I'm always going to be telling you, you should be playing Jund and or Dragons, not Dragons with an S between the brackets at the end, because if you can't play a lot, you should at least play one. So check out for all that sweet stuff. And until next time, everyone, this shakedown went pretty smooth, but we are always going to make sure we collect rent on time. And we'll be seeing you next week for our next collection time. Till then, we are your landlords. So keep listening, keep action, and have our money ready. Because, Piggy Banks and I are hungry. We need some money for next week.
Yeah, we're coming for you.
Yeah.
With love.
With
But we're
love.
coming for you.
Yeah. Allegedly.